Okay, so DeMar DeRozan leaves the Bulls to go to the Sacramento Kings. I'm just gonna talk about DeMar DeRozan. We're gonna go over, you know, how might this benefit the Kings or the pros and cons for them, and we're just gonna go into this. So DeMar DeRozan, he is a veteran point guard that played for, I believe, he played for the Raptors. He played for the Heat. He played for the Spurs and played for the Bulls. And now he's going over to the Kings. Now, DeMar DeRozan, I always liked him. I always thought that he was a solid guard. He can he can shoot, he can score, and he can score inside. He can do what you want as a point guard. And this, let's talk about how this might affect the Kings, or how this how this benefits the Kings and how it doesn't. So, you know, they're probably gonna have DeMar DeRozan as a shooting guard because De'Aaron Fox is gonna be the point guard, and he might be there for about 2 or 3 years, and this is most likely going to be his last team he played for. I don't see him going to another team after this because DeMar DeRozan is already about 34, I believe, years old, and I wouldn't see there being a point to get rid of DeMar DeRozan and take him to another team because he's old. He's getting up there. And DeMar DeRozan, he can be good for the Kings. He can be good for the Kings. I see him having a decent year with Sacramento. You have De'Aaron Fox, which we're going to see how them two might work out as point guard and shooting guard. Possibly DeMar DeRozan going to play shooting guard. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to move DeMar, but you're going to have De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan on the court. We're going to see what that does for the Kings. And DeMar DeRozan can, we're going to see how they play together. De'Aaron Fox was going off a great year last year, averaging 27 points. DeMar DeRozan came off a pretty good year last year, averaging about 24 points, and not having the best shooting year, averaging, 33.3% from downtown. But we're going to see what he does this year, and this might help the Kings out for a couple of years just so you can get another guard who can play solid defense and who can play solid offense and can move the ball around, can go to the 3, he can go to the 2, he can he can go to the 3-point line and make some shots. He can go in mid-range, he can go inside and slam, drive in and make some dunks. And De'Aaron Fox is fantastic. He's young, and he can do what you want for the Sacramento Kings, and he's one of the best shooters on the Kings. Now, before I continue this video, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you guys want to see me go over more trades like this, and hit that like button. So yes, this can help the Kings out for a little bit. Now let's talk about the cons that this brings to the Sacramento Kings. Now, he is older, and you're probably not going to see him be as quick and as flashy as he was back in the Raptors, for example, or with the Spurs. You're probably not going to see him back to that prime DeMar. But, yeah, you're not going to probably see him be the fastest because he's 34, like I said. And we're going to see what he does. I don't expect him to be that, prime DeMar DeRozan who would just bang and bang and bang threes all day like it's money. So that's probably going to not be beneficial because he's older, and the Kings are a pretty young team how it is, so you're just going to add one older guy, and we're going to see what he does this year. I mean, he can be solid, and he might not be great because he's older. Usually when guys are older, they're not as good as they used to be, like LeBron. At 40 years old, he's still great. He's still good, but he's nowhere like he was in Miami or with the Cleveland Cavs. But and we're going to see how DeMar does this year with Sacramento. And the Sacramento, he's around a pretty good roster. You have DeMontis Sabonis, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Keon Ellis. So he's gonna have a pretty decent roster around him. So let's see if this can build on the Kings or this can actually bring them down a little bit and not give them what they thought they were gonna get from this. But for the Bulls side, it sucks. It probably sucks for them because, DeMar DeRozan was just, which isn't probably it's not that bad, but now the Bulls are, they're trying to get new guys. They got Josh Giddey from OKC a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know. We're gonna see how this works out for Chicago. Let's see if they can get a couple of more guys from trading or maybe from FA free agency. And the Bulls, we're gonna see, and you've seen. I believe Andre Drummond left the Bulls as well. I'm not gonna say 100%, but I believe he left the Bulls as well, and he was a very solid rebounder for them. He was averaging one game he had like 26 rebounds. That guy was going off on the boards. So we're gonna see what the Bulls do. Get some more guys and trade and stuff like that. You have Alex Caruso, and not Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey, and then you have Kobe White, which is a pretty solid guy last year, averaging about 20 points. He was a pretty underrated point guard last year. I believe he played point guard. He was a pretty decent point guard last year for Chicago. Now, we're going to see what Sacramento can do here. You got DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox, Keon Ellis, DeMontis Sabonis, which is one of the best centers in the NBA, to be honest with you. And he is also amazing with the rebounds. He led the league in most rebounds, I believe, with like 13 rebounds a game, 14 rebounds a game. So he can grab those boards. So this was pretty interesting for Sacramento and Chicago. I wonder how this will play out for Sacramento. I wonder with Chicago is going to see what they're going to try to build on. I believe that. You still have Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is a very underrated small forward, in my opinion. He can drive, he can shoot. Zach LaVine can be good, and we're going to see what he does this year. And his statistics are pretty good as well. So we're going to see what Zach LaVine can do. Last year, he averaged about 19.5 points. I believe he was dealing with injuries. But Zach LaVine can be good. Kobe White can be good. Josh Giddey can be pretty good as well. And I believe they have Nikola Vucevic. So this is going to be an interesting lineup for Chicago. Meanwhile, for Sacramento, you have a pretty decent lineup. De'Aaron Fox, Keon Ellis, DeMontis Sabonis, and then DeMar DeRozan. So we're going to see, and I can't remember who their small forward is. But, yeah, that's it, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I'm out. Peace.